Hey people, and welcome to Lockdown Extras Part 2. And this video is brought to you by Squarespace. They are the all-in-one, all-encompassing online platform that allow you to build an unreal looking online presence and run your very own business. So Lockdown Extras Part 2. These are the videos where we talk and have a conversation about topics and themes that you guys inspire and suggest in the comment section. These videos are fueled by the comments. So while you're watching this one, have a think about what you'd like me to talk about in future videos, because there's no way of knowing how long these lockdown extras are going to continue. So we've looked through the comments. There's been a lot of stuff to talk about, but one thing that really stood out and shone was sort of a request and people asking for an insight into my career and some of the key moments and highlights that's taken me from childhood effectively to where I am now as a professional mountain bike rider. So this channel is watched by all sorts of people of all ages and also all mountain bike abilities. Some of you are really skilled on mountain bikes. You've sent me some of your videos and it's amazing, but some of you are just getting into the sport and are sort of shaping out your own path and trying to learn as you go. And to take it back to the start, when I got into mountain biking, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram. There was magazines and DVDs. I was going to say VHSs. A lot of you youngsters won't even know what they are. There was DVDs. So I discovered bikes in the garden with my twin brother Jono. We rode together. We had little kids bikes, sort of like that one. Well, before that we had those proper run-along bikes when we were really young. But it wasn't the main thing. We were never on a path to be bike riders. It was all chance, and the main bulk of my career, I would say, has been chance. There's been hard work and there's been a lot of training and dedication and sacrifice, but so many moments in my eyes come down to good luck, and that's my honest view. So from the start, we were lucky enough to live very close to Woburn Trails. My mum and dad took Jono and I to a BMX race, and we were charging around on these bikes. I remember them telling me that I forgot to pedal across the finish line and went from like third place to basically last because I didn't even understand. I didn't get it. And one of the parents said, "Where are you guys from?" And they said to my mum, like, "Oh, you should check out Woburn. There's some jumps there. They sound like they're quite close to your house." So we went there, and my mum would sit on a tree stump for hours, and me and Jono would just ride. And we were really lucky. Again, a lucky thing is we were both into it, and we had this like brotherhood rivalry thing, which was all positive, and we helped push each other, not to a crazy high level, but it just kept interest in the sport, and we wanted to do bigger jumps. We wanted to jump further. And when we crashed, there was someone to tell you to get up and crack on. And that is another like really important thing that helped at the start, because at our age, we didn't have social media. We didn't even understand that outside of Woburn, mountain biking was a thing. I thought that that was the centre of the universe in that sport. I didn't think that if you drove 100 miles up the road, there could possibly be any other bike parks. But then we kind of moved into bigger bikes. I got my first mountain bike, which was a like really cheap second-hand dirt jump bike when I was 11, I think, and entered a competition called King of Dirt at Chicksands. That was my first outing to a different bike park, and I kind of something twigged, and I thought, oh, there's more than one place to ride. And I tried a 360 for no reason. I'd never tried one before. I got excited, carried away, landed exactly backwards on top of a landing, span the wrong way. It was opposite technically, so that didn't go to plan. But there was so many of those, later on there's so many of those moments where I tried something stupid which led to something bigger, which is quite interesting. But it was Woburn, it was Chicksands, and then it was four-cross racing. So as well as digging up the garden and having jumps there, the whole travelling around started with four-cross, which is four people race down a track at the same time. First across the line wins. It was rad. It was such a cool time. We were in the juvenile category, then youth, then junior. My best finish was second in national champs, and I think I came second in the overall series as well. And I did that with Jono. We were like in the same category. And a few times when we were racing head to head, there was a race where it all came down to this one final. And Jono was in front of me, and I needed to beat Jono to get good points, but it didn't really matter for Jono, and I was literally screaming at him on the way down the track to let me win, which was so immature, but it meant everything at the time. He didn't, which I'm thankful for now. He stuck it out and thrashed me, but it was a weird time, and racing was everything. And then I just wasn't into the racing. Even at races, when I was doing the jumps, I just wanted to do tricks and do whips and things. So quite quickly my attention turned back to Woburn and dirt jumping. But what that meant was loads of digging. And my career has also stemmed from my passion for digging and being creative and building jumps. much with the backyard that's not too far away where we ride and I'm building. It's like, that is my passion. Creating jumps feels like more than riding sometimes, and tricks and style, I think that's an extension of the love of creating jumps. When I'm designing a jump, I think about the way I'm going to ride it and the tricks I might do. And a few years later, I've skipped a bit out, but I'll come back to it. My biggest highlight in my career, outside of competition, outside of racing, was a video project I did with Red Bull called Frames of Mind. And that was like, for me, putting all my ambition and all my creativity into one video, where I did some world's first tricks. And that was quite game changing. It gave me a chance to create a bespoke course that Red Bull organised with me and paid for. That it changed my life, to be honest. I could shine this creative side of my riding that actually is very difficult to put across in slopestyle competitions where everyone rides the same jumps. So, going back to digging, Woburn, riding, I got good at tricks, and then I wanted to get into competing. And it was around the time that I could drive, or a few of my mates who were a bit older could drive. We started going around the UK to competitions called King of Dirt, which became Dirt Wars. They are the UK competitions, and I did quite well. I kind of got a mixed bag of results, like 6th, 4th. I got on the podium once or twice, which I was so stoked with. But that's when I realised that I loved dirt jumping, I loved slopestyle, and my focus sort of shifted to the international circuit, because magazines and DVDs, it was clear that there was these big events like Crankworks, and my dream was to ride in one of those, and another dream was to be sponsored by Red Bull. And the way that all happened was I got chatting to the brand Red Bull, like the marketing manager, the guy who runs the team, the mountain bike team, came and met me years and years ago. I think I was 17 or 18, just finishing school, just finishing sixth form, and I was going to go off to university. And he sort of started suggesting that like it'd be really cool if he thinks I had potential and biking could be awesome. But at the same time, when you're young and you don't have anyone to give you actual fact and actual inspiration, there was no evidence that riding a bike was actually a living. Like, being sponsored by Red Bull, my favourite rider growing up was Andrea Lecondagui. He was Red Bull sponsored. I thought he gets free Red Bull cans, and that was it. And I thought that if you ride for Kona bikes, you get a free bike. So I thought it'd be awesome to ride for Red Bull, and like, it's absolutely my dream, but how can I not go to university and not get a job and just bike if it doesn't earn any money? But actually, I sort of found out through those conversations that you can make a living from this. It is a real sport. It's not in the Olympics, but with brands and with like the power they hold, and they have budgets, like you can get some money together and they will pay for your flights. So I thought, I'm going to do a gap year. I'm going to take a year out between school and university and just ride, and I'll see how it goes. So I went to Vienna Air King, where I qualified 10th and came 10th. So that was my first top 10 result against riders like Sam Pilgrim, Martin Soderstrom, Andrea Lecondagui, Brett Reeder, Semenuk. It was a big time, massive, massive time for me. Getting on a flight with my bike on my own, knowing I was going to have to go and send it on jumps that are bigger than anything in the UK, was mental. Like really, really nervous, not knowing anyone. Everyone speaks German. People were speaking Swedish, French. I didn't have any friends. It was insane. But quite quickly I got to know some of the riders, and then you fall into this world tour. But suddenly, like later that year, I was going to more events in different countries, and that like changed my life. The chance to see the world and spend all of my savings I was growing up on a few key flights to get to those events was everything. And that's also luck, like being in the right time to spend my money on something which was a massive risk. It wasn't a relaxing holiday. It was turn up, get picked up at the airport, check into the hotel, ride, even though you've got jet lag, check out, go home. I never won any prize money. I wasn't good enough at that time, but I was sort of getting noticed. And that's when the Red Bull conversation sparked again, because I chose then to take another year off and not go to university, because Red Bull offered to pay for some of my flights. I rode for Saracen bikes and Halo wheels, so that was the travel thing sorted. Like, I could get to these events, even though I was like, had no money, I could get there and ride. And two events were really important. Firstly, X Games. So Red Bull did this thing called Red Bull Phenom, where mountain biking was in the X Games in Germany, in Munich, and a handful of riders were selected by Red Bull as rookies. They called us Phenoms. There were 6 of us from America, Finland, France, like Canada. There's 6 of us. And we had this like little subcategory event alongside the main X Games, which I think Brett Reeder won, and we had to drop in and win. Like, I'll show you some footage. The winds were astronomical. It was dangerous to ride, but we were also hungry and like so into it that I dropped in, got blown on the first jump, did a backflip, cased it, slipped a pedal. I knew my score was going to be so low, but I was at X Games. It might have been it was the last chance that mountain biking had to be in the X Games. And then at the end of the course, there was this flat drop, which I'd practiced, I hadn't tricked, and this step down takeoff that was set back. And at that point, no one had even jumped it. It was like one of these joke laughing stock features that was just in the course, but like the course builders put in maybe to look cool. And I remember like coming up to this last drop and looking at this kicker on the right, set back, and thinking, this is my final chance to go for it. So I swerved for it, pedalled, backflipped it. That pedal meant that I was going twice too fast. I'd hardly even backflip step downs before that, and I went 60 foot. Shattered my collarbone on impact. You've probably seen in videos, it sticks out still. Shattered it, like bent into an X for X Games, and yeah, got carted off in a sling and went home. But in the lobby in the hotel the night after that event, I was in agony. I was so sore. My wrist was like pounding, my shoulder hurt. I knew I'd broken my collarbone. And Darren Bearcloth from like the Claw, Bear Claw, you might know him as, from Canada. He was a legend. Like, I hadn't even spoken to him before in my life. And he came over to me and he was like, Matt, I saw that backflip. That was the coolest thing ever. Like, you sent it. It was so sick to see. I want you to come to my comp, which was the Bear Claw Invitational, which I knew all about. I'd seen all the videos in the mountain bike movies. So for crashing and breaking my collarbone, for a moment of luck and blind madness, this guy noticed me, invited me to his competition, which was in like 8 weeks. So I had to heal up, get on a flight to Canada, the furthest from home I'd ever been, and ride in a competition that I'd always aspired to be involved with. And I came 10th. I 360'd a flat drop, massive one. First time I'd ever done that in my life. I did it for the first time in the competition run. And again, like, that luck led to the chance to ride a big flat drop, the chance to 360 it when it mattered, landing it and getting a top 10 in a mountain bike gold event. And that was it. I was then hooked. I was on the world tour. I had points. I got invited to do best trick in Canada, in Whistler at Crankworks the week later. So I extended my flight. I stayed there and was just constantly going country to country, like scraping by, like sharing meals with other riders. It was a sick time, and it was all about comps. And then, if I explain the Red Bull story, yeah, did I? I got points. And they said, like, Matt, we think you've got what it takes, and they actually surprised me at Goodwood Festival of Speed. Dougie Lampkin, who is a legend of trials, like 12, 13 times world champion, took off my helmet. Anthony Napolitan of Pro BMX Rider started smashing it against the tree. I went mad, like this guy who I thought was a legend was smashing my helmet up, and Dougie came up behind me and plonked this Red Bull helmet on my head, which is insane. And then that was it. That was the Red Bull sponsorship, a dream come true. And then I was even more fueled to compete and ride. But the crazy thing is, literally the day after I got sponsored by Red Bull, I just had this like crazy wave of motivation. I tried a trick in a show at Goodwood, shattered my wrist the day after being sponsored by Red Bull, and was off the bike for 4 months. Shattered every bone. I'll show you a CT scan. It was like completely blown to bits. So there was highs and lows, but all of these key moments, X Games, Bear Claws Invitational, getting sponsored by Red Bull at the time where like they had the choice. There was no freestyle mountain biker in the UK. That's luck. That's luck, because Red Bull only really sponsor one athlete per discipline in each country. And even moving on, like I've had some contest wins where, like Colorado Freeride Festival was a big one. I won that and I beat Nikolai Rogatkin and Brett Reeder. Another comp, Swatch Rocket Air, I won that comp. And then it's just been crazy. And now my focus has shifted again. I love creating content. I love YouTube. And Frames of Mind, that big opportunity to film a Red Bull video, I'm motivated to do the same again, and I'm actually doing the same again this year, 2020, another huge Red Bull video. So, I got into biking, I was into other things, skateboarding, scooters, but just living in the right place, the right time, having a brother to work, like almost compete against, got me into the attitude of competition. Went to a load of competitions, got sponsors, I now earn a living from mountain biking, and now I'm back to digging up the garden. It's gone full circle, and I'm making amazing videos, and I have awesome sponsors around me to help me do that. So I feel lucky every day to do this sport. I've had no end of help. My fiance like drives me every day to get better, and the fact that we're digging up our garden, which could be a nice field, is a massive thing. And my parents, the same thing. They sacrificed a lot to take me and my brother to mountain bike events, to race and to dig up their garden. So there's been a lot of key moments, but I'm here now, and I think that's a good insight into my career as a whole. We'll talk about some of the funnier stories in another video, but if you've ever been intrigued as to how I discovered the sport and how I am where I am now, that's it. I just really stuck it all on the line when it mattered. Sometimes I knew to be safe because I couldn't do better than 10th. I messed up my first, there was always times where I rode safe, and then when it all mattered, I took a lot of risks, and I've had a lot of broken bones, a great deal of injuries, but I can still walk, dig and ride, so for me it was worth it. And yeah, that's my story. Thank you to Squarespace for supporting this video. They're an amazing platform where you can build an entire website, from selecting your domain name at the point of building your site. When you know your company's name, you can select a domain that matches it exactly, and then you can put all of that into an email campaign, which is super useful. Target your audience, put it into their very inbox so you can spread the love, spread your message, and you can do all of that on Squarespace. There's a link in my description for you to get started, and I've got a code where you can save 10% off your very first purchase when you're ready to hit launch. Thanks to all of you legends for actually being a part of that whole story I just said. Without you guys, without you watching these videos and fueling me to do more, I might have taken a different turn and focused elsewhere. So thank you. And yeah, keep fueling the comments. We're going to do episode 3 based on these comments from this video. So if there was something I missed or something new you want me to talk about, let me know. I know it ran on. I know it was a long video and we said we were going to keep them short, but it's quite difficult to condense 15, 20 years riding into less than 10 minutes. So you're all legends. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next Lockdown Extras episode 3. Legends. You all right?
Can you bring it a bit closer?
Yeah, man. How's that? Bit more.
Bit more.
Okay. Really?
Okay, go back a bit.
You serious? Back?
Yeah.
How's that?
Okay, can you go the tiniest bit closer?
No,
I'm serious. Yeah, spot on.